And I think I can just retire after that song, and the song says everything. So, you know, I just, 1 week ago, I was in India. It seems hard to believe, because it was my 21st visit to India.
Wow.
And I don't know, I guess I have an Indian soul. And you from India? So there's no place like India. And I guess I was there maybe 5 times, and I'd be walking by these monkey statues, and I knew about Hanuman mythologically, but I never really got it. And then one day, it's sort of like he tapped me on the shoulder and sort of introduced himself to me, and it's a very inward thing, but I couldn't believe it. It was just, he represents enormous energy, enormous power. And they say in India that Hanuman represents Bhakti and Shakti. Do you know what Bhakti and Shakti are?
Yes.
Bhakti is devotion of the heart, and Shakti is power. And if you open your heart, don't you have a lot of energy? Any of you ever fall in love and you don't like worry about what time you go to bed? You know, like you feel like you're on cloud 9 and you could, you know, just live and enjoy and be totally alive, totally free. And then what happens? We get our heart hurt, we close it, we defend it, and then we kind of lose our energy a little bit. Well, Hanuman's father is Vayu in Indian mythology, and Vayu is the wind god. And do you know what wind stands for? It stands for prana. And prana is energy. So he's the child of the god of energy. And do you know where that energy is situated in your own energy anatomy? Right in your heart chakra, not your physical heart, your heart chakra, which is in this area here. It's called the Anahata chakra. And if this chakra is open, you have tremendous energy. But what happens sometimes? We fall in love, our energy gets open. It may be in love with a person, it might be in love with music, it might be in love with whatever. But the heart center is also the center of likes and dislikes. So when something happens we like, we open our heart. Something happens we don't like, what do? We close it, we react. So in most of us, our heart is like opening, closing, doing all this stuff. It's like going in a million directions. Hanuman represents the heart being open and coming to the spiritual eye 100%. You see, and then your heart is, it's like you fall in love, never ends. It's maximum, it's all the time. And he was in service to Lord Rama. And it's hard to believe, us Americans, what our revolution was in 60s or something like that. 1776 was the Declaration of Independence. Lord Rama was like a Jesus figure about 5,000 years ago. And in India, the culture has been living thousands and thousands of years. They've had many great spiritual teachers. And was he literally a monkey? Maybe. Maybe he was, I don't know. But he symbolizes the master of energy in service to truth. And it's not just that you have to be devoted just to the avatar, the great spiritual teacher. If you put your full energy into anything and you live for truth, then you're becoming friendly with Hanuman. And he is a living figure. In the Indian tradition, there are certain beings that are said to be immortals. And it is said that Hanuman is living today, probably in the Himalayas. So you just felt him in the room because, you know, he's a monkey. And whether that represents literally a monkey, but he represents the wind. And what does the wind do? It's very vivacious and it changes and moves. And so he can be very energetic. And so that rap song is like great because it really captures that energy of Hanuman. He's like so alive. And in each one of us, we can choose at any moment. Do we open our heart and open our prana? And not just because life is good, so someone we like was good to us, so we say, oh, it's easy, I can open my heart. But because we choose to open it. We choose to practice. But then we don't let it go in a million directions. We bring it up And we bring it to this point, and we have dedication to something higher, something uplifting, something beautiful, ultimately to perfect love. And if you really want to be in tune with perfect love, then Rama, who represents the ultimate divinity, will give you enormous power. So Hanuman is a figure of service to the divine with total devotion. And because of that, he's invincible and he's super being. He can do anything. So he can, like the rap song said, Lord Rama, the brother of Lord Rama, Lakshman, he got injured in the war, and they needed a healing herb, and they said, Hanuman, go get the herb, and he flew to the Himalayas, but time was short because Lakshman was in danger of dying, and he didn't know where the herb was. He just took the whole mountain and flew back. And there's in mythology, you'll see a picture of him holding a mountain, and he's flying. Did that literally happen? Well, maybe. But does it really matter? It symbolizes bringing like total enthusiasm, total energy, total open heart, total devotion to truth, and bringing it to the moment. And whatever your situation is, you say, I'm in, I'm totally in, I'm all in, I'm using all my energy. And that brings you right here, right now, in a highly energized condition. And whether you're into sports, you know, in India, all of the martial artists, whatever their type of martial art, they have a little altar, and it's to Hanuman. And before they do their martial art, they do a little devotion. And they say, Hanuman, bless me with your enormous strength, with your enormous ability. And then they do whatever they do, juggling knives or juggling fire or all this crazy stuff, and they're fearless. So it's true, huh? Hanuman represents such amazing energy that we could bring into anything in our life. But we don't have to adopt the Indian culture if we don't feel that's comfortable, because all the different spiritual paths talk about what happens when we open our heart. The Christian Bible says, blessed are the pure in heart, for you shall see God. You see it? Purity of heart, and then you develop your intuition. And Hanuman symbolizes that purity of heart. And when you have that purity of heart, the amazing energy that comes from it. And he's tremendously mysterious. He's, like I said today, Hindus believe he is still living today in his body. He never died. And he is still with us. So, and there was even, you know, some picture that someone took, and they thought they had seen him, and that circulated for a while. And he was a little older and more, he also represents total knowledge, total mastery of any subject. Because if you bring your full energy to whatever you do, then you go to the maximum possibility. So it's not like you have to do this, but it's like, don't you want to feel alive?
Yeah.
Don't you want to feel like joy? Don't you want to feel like anything's possible?
Yeah.
And don't you want to feel like if life's giving you obstacles that you can overcome them?
Yes.
See, now, I'm also an astrologer, and in astrology, some planets are naturally benevolent. We all want them to visit us, don't we? Like Christmas morning always, you know, all the good stuff. But sometimes, like, April's coming, we're going to have, like, April 15th soon. Is that Christmas morning, or is that a little painful day when we have to, like, do our taxes and do some of the necessary things of life? So we're going to go through periods in our life where there's challenges. And we're going to go through periods when things are flowing. When things are flowing, we don't go to the doctor, do we?
No.
We just enjoy it. But when we're having tests and challenges, we need some help. And in India, on the days of the week that are associated with the more difficult planets of astrology, Tuesday, anyone know what Tuesday is associated with? Mars. And you know, because we're from, we have English, history, and I think that Tuesday in Scandinavian mythology represents Thor's day.
Ah.
And that's where we get the Mars symbolism. If you were Italian, it'd be easy to know, because Tuesday is Martedì, day of Mars. And Saturday, what planet goes there? You can't get that. If you can't get Saturday, then you have to leave. So Saturn is the planet who often gives us tests and challenges, but he's very profound. But many of you are in this room because Saturn has been roughing you up a little bit, and you're trying to figure out how to overcome some obstacles in your life, how to change your life, how to get on the right track. Mars causes problems when our passion is out of control. Like we want one potato chip, and the next thing you know, there's an empty bag. And you say, like, what happened? And I was like, oh my God, it was fun, and I just couldn't stop. It was like an avalanche of fun. And now I have a headache the next day trying to figure out, so my fire, got away from me, so that happens a lot in life. Our fire gets away from us, especially in a culture that's every advertiser is encouraging our fire to be excited and to go for broke. And so we have a whole army of people out there trying to get you excited, out of control.
So true.
And Mars causes problems. Passion out of control, then we get conflict, all this control, all that stuff. And then Saturn is the planet, it's more like I want security, I want everything organized, I want to feel safe, I want to be okay. But then we get kind of closed and stuck, you know what I mean? Everything's got to be just so. So in India, on the days of Mars and Saturn, Tuesday and Saturday, people go to the Hanuman temple. And they make special prayers to Hanuman to help them overcome their problems. Because he's the super spiritual being who can defeat anything. And he's a living entity. He's like an angel, like a divinity, a face of God. He's not just a cute concept, get a Hanuman book and look, there's this picture. And whether it's literally a monkey or maybe a yogi who had monkey-like qualities. do you know? Who knows? It doesn't matter. What it matters is that he represents the state of total, complete energization. That energy that's mastered and is available to you. So if you have to get up and go to work and you just can't get out of bed, you could just say, Om Shri Hanumate Namah.